Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Naturally, I have always rejected the flat earthers. Then again, I don't really understand this gravity business. Lately, I find myself having more of an open mind about all of this. Norman Chad. Norman Chad. Welcome to Gambling Mad with Norman Chad. I am Norman Chad. Coming up on the program today, does John Smoltz ever stop talking? Will the New York Jets ever win a game? And is it possible that the earth is flat? Gambling Mad, as always, brought to you by Fritos, picked fresh off of Central California trees every morning, delivered directly to your local retailer every afternoon. And by the refreshing taste of Fresca. Fritos and Fresca. It's a meal. Prediction markets are all the rage. Prediction markets are platforms where people bet on the outcomes of just about anything. Elections, how much a movie will gross at the box office, whether or not there will be a hurricane in Florida by February, etc. Anything. Prediction market players buy and sell shares on these possible outcomes, which is pretty much a transparent attempt to pretend it is not gambling. It is gambling, as surely as Charlie Sheen is wackadoodle. And a bit belatedly, the biggest prediction market platforms are taking share buys on sports. Of course they are. Yes, it's sports betting. So sports operators like Polymarket and Kalshi are pretending they are not taking sports bets in many states that prohibit sports bets. And at the moment, they're getting away with it, although state regulators are starting to come after them. Let's talk a little bit more about Kalshi for a moment. Kalshi says it is not a sports betting service. Rather, it's a financial exchange. That's a good one. Kalshi told Sportico website that, quote, there's no material difference between sporting events and other categories on our platform. They better hope so. Kalshi this month introduced football parlays, the biggest sucker bet in the business, and not surprisingly, trading at Kalshi on college and pro football games has been about 80 or 90% of their volume in recent weeks. 90% of their business. Apparently, financial traders prefer NFL money lines to betting on the weather. But remember, it's not a sports gambling service. It sells futures. It's not sports betting. Investors are buying and selling shares on events. It's not sports betting. One other intriguing note here. This activity is considered a financial market, and thus it's regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is a federal financial regulator. The previous administration sought to limit or stop prediction markets from accepting wagers on elections and whatnot, and they even proposed a rule prohibiting all sports activity. But the Trump White House has loosened those restrictions, coincidentally at the same time that Donald Trump Jr.'s 1789 Capital took a multi-million-dollar stake in Polymarket, and at the same time that Donald Trump Jr. was named as a strategic advisor for Polymarket's competitor, Cashy. Yes, Don Jr. as a strategic advisor. The strategy being, let's give the president's son a bunch of money so that the president will okay our activity. Am I being too cynical here? No. Who are you kidding? But I'm going to have to rest my cynicism radar detector for a bit. So I'm going to wait till next week to tell you other reasons to be very cynical about these new prediction markets. Time for NFL picks. And I should not be smiling. I have been an embarrassment to myself, an embarrassment to my family, an embarrassment to the very teetering nation I live in. This so far is my worst season ever for picking against the spread on NFL games. I have been 2-3 each and every week. I am now 8-12 on the season. I have become Clay Travis. Clay Travis, some of you might know, is the boneheaded, brain-dead idiot savant of conservative talk radio. But some of you may not know that he's also the worst sports betting handicapper in modern American history, documented for several straight years, well below 500. He's nowhere near 50% on his picks. He could not pick a cherry from a cherry tree, and I have become Clay Travis. Broncos at Jets. This game is in London. The Jets are 0-5, the NFL's only winless team. The Jets are giving up 31 points a game. Only the Ravens are worse. The Jets have yet to force a turnover. No interceptions, no recovered fumbles. They haven't even found a stray dollar bill on the field. The Jets' leading scorer, their kicker, Nick Folk. The Jets are technically the home team in this game, in this one, but it's being played, as I told you, in London. That's a long drive for Jets fans from New Jersey. And once they get to the UK, they then have to drive on the other side of the road, which is 500 accidents and 500 middle fingers waiting to happen. If the Jets win this one, I will move to somewhere in the old British Empire. I will take the Broncos minus 6.5 points. Patriots at Saints. You know, how come I'm the last person to find out how good Patriots quarterback Drake May is? He has the sixth best passer rating in the NFL at 107.8. He has thrown only 2 interceptions all season on 153 passing attempts. He outplayed Josh Allen last week. May is only 23 years old. He was born in North Carolina. He went to high school in North Carolina. He went to college in North Carolina, and he got married in North Carolina. How come he's not playing for the Carolina Panthers? Just a reminder about the Saints. Their starting quarterback is still Spencer Rattler, and one of his backups is still Tyler Shough. Rattler played college ball at South Carolina. That's the wrong Carolina. And Tyler Shough has never even been to North Carolina. I will take the Patriots as a 3.5-point favorite in this one. It is time for our calendar game of the week. Woo! I got to be honest with you, folks. The calendar game of the week has been so bad. I have to do it in disguise this week. That's right. I can't let people know it's going to be me here. So let's go with this.
Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Yes. All right. Calendar game of the week. Browns at Steelers. This is NFL start number 254 for Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. This is NFL start number 2 for rookie Browns quarterback Dylan Gabriel. We might even see Shedeur Sanders as the Browns traded antique lawn jockey Joe Flacco to the Bengals. With Flacco gone, by the way, the average age of the entire Browns roster dropped by 5.5 years. The Steelers have won 13 of their last 14 home games against Cleveland. The Steelers have covered the spread 5 straight times coming off of a bye week. All the smart money is going on Pittsburgh. I have no money, so I'll go the other way in this division rivalry. Yep, I will take the Browns plus, the Browns plus 6.5. Rams at Ravens. In what world are the Ravens ever a 7.5-point underdog at home? They've gone from Super Bowl favorite to 1-4 in 5 weeks. They have crashed quicker than Madonna's romance with Dennis Rodman. Yeah, that's probably a 30-year-old reference. Then sue me. It feels like the Ravens will be playing 10 on 11 against the Rams. And, well, with Lamar Jackson out, it's going to be like 10 on 11. Same for the Ravens' pass defense, the worst in the NFL. So that will also feel like 10 against 11, 10 on 11 against Stafford, Nakua, and Devontae Adams. These teams do have one thing in common. President Trump sent the National Guard to Los Angeles, and he has called Baltimore a shithole. So the Rams, I believe, will escape the hellscape that is LA, and they will win big in the shithole that is Baltimore. I will take Rams minus 7.5. Bills minus 4.5 at the Falcons. Can the Bills really be upset 2 straight weeks? Of course they can. We put a man on the moon, I think. So Josh Allen certainly can lose back-to-back games. But the primary reason the Bills lost last week to the Patriots? Turnovers, my friend. Turnovers. They had 3 turnovers. Turnovers will kill you. I was the first one to ever say that back even before the AFL-NFL merger in 1970. Speaking of the 20th century, let me give you a little history on the Atlanta Falcons, who were born in 1966. They are almost always bad. They made it to that Super Bowl one time, remember, against the New England Patriots. They blew a 78-point lead in the second half. They have had 60 years of losing football. They're sort of a Southern New York Jets. The Falcons' all-time record is 400, 514, and 6 ties. And it's going to become 400, 515, and 6 ties this weekend. The Bills will not let me down for a second straight week. I'm taking Bills minus 4.5. Let's talk kickers. NFL kickers. Sounds sexy, doesn't it? I mean, if I said, let's talk long snappers, you might walk away. But kickers, nobody's going anywhere. NFL kickers have gotten too good. This week through week 5, 7 of them are perfect, 100% on field goal attempts. Nobody in the league is making less than 2/3 of their attempts. Frankly, if you finish the season at 75% or below, you're going to be looking for a new job next season. Listen to these other numbers, and they were unthinkable a decade ago. From 50-plus yards, kickers are 56 of 76 this season. That's 74%. From 60-plus yards, they are 7 of 11. The league already has 28 field goals made from 55 yards or beyond. That's a record through 5 weeks. This changes the game. Nowadays, let's say you get the ball on your own 35. If you just pick up a couple of first downs, you're already in a position to attempt like a 55-yard field goal that you're probably going to make. Now, I am a longtime anti-kicker. As I have argued before, right here on Gambling Mad, I would eliminate all kicking, including punting. I'm not just a gun abolitionist. I am also a kicking abolitionist. Plus, kickers now have their own personally prepared footballs. I'm not making this up. NFL rules allow each team's kicker to prepare 3 footballs that will be used in the game for field goals and extra points. They can use water, towels, brushes, and sponges to prepare the balls. Kickers then practice with those footballs before giving them to a game official before kickoff. If they had this rule 20 years ago, Tom Brady would have become a kicker. You break in these balls, as best as you can, rubbing them down and doing whatever you do with the towel and the water. And then, of course, you're going to kick better. I see this in my own home all the time. My current wife, Tony, prepares the meanest chicken piccata, pesto salmon, and ciampino, cooking them with her own skillet, saucepan, baking sheet, casserole dish, spatula, and oven. But put her on the road using someone else's kitchenware, and she's just another, weekend line chef at TGI Fridays. When I started my Just Say No to Starbucks movement in 1999, the coffee giant had 2,500 stores worldwide. As of June of this year, there are now 18,700 Starbucks outlets worldwide. Our boycott, by any metric, has been less than successful. But we are persistent, and we are finally seeing results. Starbucks has been teetering a bit. 1 year ago, they brought in a new CEO, Brian Niccol, and you all know what CEOs love to do: cutbacks. Earlier this week, Starbucks it was earlier this year, Starbucks eliminated 1,100 jobs, and now it's announced it is closing underperforming stores in North America, maybe 400 or more. Power to the people. As I have argued for the last quarter of a century, Starbucks is overpriced, overrated, and overhyped. It put mom and pop coffee shops out of business, and it eliminated the last great perk in America, refills. By the way, as part of its effort to turn around its financial decline, Starbucks is also laying off 900 corporate staff. 900 corporate types? They had 900 bodies in corporate that they could get rid of? How many suits do you need to make an iced pumpkin spice latte? All you need is some pimply barista to charge you $7.25 for it. Just say no to Starbucks. Power to the people. I am not an economist. I am a media juggernaut. I do not study the economy. I study oil patterns at bowling lanes. And I've never worked or been fired by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I have been fired by many other organizations. But despite my lack of economic bona fides, here's how I can tell the economy is struggling. On daytime TV, where people still watch, game shows and talk shows, forever, for years, you would see these credit card relief commercials and reduce your debt commercials and get cash fast commercials. Well, those ads are now appearing routinely also on MLB playoff games and on NFL primetime telecasts. What does that tell me? People are obviously having budgetary problems. Debt relief is a bigger business than ever. There is one other telltale, obvious sign of a struggling economy. Just go to the supermarket. Everything costs more. Inflation hasn't been tamed. Everything costs more. Eggs, chicken, ground beef, butter, coffee, orange juice, bread. Hey, Farmer John's, you're charging me now more for that package of bacon, and the package is 25% smaller. This country was built on the back of bacon. Bacon today, bacon tomorrow, bacon forever. These aren't even my words. They're the words of Blue. Blue and I share food on the table, and she loves.
Are high interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Bacon. Let's take a moment out for our quote of the week. It is courtesy of Jesse Waters on Fox News' The Five. Quote, men who are high-value men like Stephen Miller take risks. They're brave, they're unafraid, they're confident, they're on a mission, and they have younger wives. End quote. I knew I'd made one big mistake. Hey, Tony, can you help me look for a, slightly younger wife? Jeez. I got everything else covered. Brave, unafraid, confident, on a mission. And not for nothing, I am a hunk and a half. Naturally, I have always rejected the flat earthers. Then again, I don't really understand this gravity business. Lately, I find myself having more of an open mind about all of this. One of the biggest arguments against the flat earthers is, if the earth is flat, if you walk or drive far enough, eventually you've got to fall off one of the edges. And we never hear about that happening. But you're not going to hear about that happening because, if someone does that, they just disappear and nobody knows why. I mean, people might figure it's just a case of, when a guy says he's going out for cigarettes but never comes back because he's decided he's leaving the old battle axe. In addition, I did some research. Half of the time, the earth is portrayed on a globe. And the other half of the time, the earth, the whole world, is portrayed on a map. Okay. Well, which is it? Is the earth round or is it flat? Well, let's take a look at what makes more sense. Here we go. This is a map of the world. Obviously, it's not to scale, but this is the entire world. Okay? So here we go. I'm saying the world might be flat. So as you see on this map, by the way, you got the United States, and over here, as far east as you can go, or whatever direction that is. You got Russia over here as far east or west as you can go. Who knows what that is? The world here, let's say if the world is flat, okay? See? You got him. And you got him. It makes sense. See, they're standing in Russia right now. See, that works. That makes sense. By the way, this guy kind of reminds me of that white supremacist, Matt Walsh. And this person reminds me of one of those, Somalians that he hates that are in America. But look at this map. They get along with each other. It can happen. But see how easy it is? If it's flat, then you can walk around. Let's take a look at the other example. Let's say the world is a sphere. Okay? Here's the world. All right? Forget about this rotation with the sun and stuff. All right? This is the world. This is Matt Walsh. You can only stand on it if it's up here. It's going to fall off. Okay? How do you stand on the world? How do you stand on it here? Look, let's watch this guy. Let's see who wants to stand out here while the world's rotating. Prosecution rests. Huh? You know, you cannot stand or stay standing on a globe. If the earth is round, everyone's got to fall off unless you're on top. Huh? What, you think I've lost my marbles? I don't give a damn what you think. I'm a big fan of The Morning Show on Apple TV Plus, a weekly television series about a network morning show. I'm also a big fan of Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad, a weekly podcast about gambling and other stuff. Many people compare the two shows, but I don't think this is fair. The morning show is weekly, but for 10 shows a year. Gambling Mad is weekly year-round, except for those weeks in which I oversleep. The morning show has 15 executive producers and 7 other producers. That seems a bit top-heavy. I mean, who gets the coffee? And think about that. To produce just 10 45-minute shows a year, they've got 15 executive producers, 7 other producers. That's 22 people right there before you even get to the dozens, if not hundreds, of underlings on staff. Here at Gambling Mad, we have 3. We have 3 people on staff, and at any time, I am not speaking to 2 of them. We have 1 executive producer, 1 producer, and 1 guy who does I don't know what. That's it. 3 people behind the scenes of this massive carousel of moving parts. 3 people unlikely to be hired anywhere else for any other job anywhere in the world at any company. Now, there are 2 different types of executive producers. The type who micromanages every little detail and the type who never shows up. We have the type who never shows up, Rick Barrio-Dill, which is why I get along with him so well. I haven't seen this Rick Barrio-Dill in maybe 7 or 8 years, and we've only been doing Gambling Mad for 16 months. The producer is this little lady by the name of Bree Corey. Now, don't get me wrong. She's a nice enough broad, and I believe in diversity and equity and inclusion, but she sometimes brings her dog to work. Very unprofessional. And she leans toward that whole vegetarian thing and appears to listen to music I've never heard of. And then there is our associate producer, Asher Friedberg. Okay. 1, I don't see where we have a big enough operation where we need an associate producer. 2, I'm told Asher is involved in engineering, editing, and social media. I didn't ask for social media. I hate social media. Nothing about social media is social. Plus, this Asher fella, he might be 25 years old. He's just a kid. He's never heard of a Murphy bed or Murphy Brown. He's never heard of a rumble seat or a hula hoop. If it were up to me, he'd be working at Starbucks and his Starbucks would be shuttered. Anyway, we are a pretty happy, tight-knit family here. And I just wanted you good people out there to, get a glimpse behind the scenes of how a smooth running operation like Gambling Mad operates. Asher, coffee, 2 and 2. ASAP. What do you mean? What does 2 and 2 mean? God, where do these people come from? Before we wrap up, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. Go to YouTube and watch Johnny Carson clips, you heathens. Johnny Carson was host of The Tonight Show for 30 years, from 1962 to 1992. He was essentially replaced by 2 people on competing late-night shows, Jay Leno and David Letterman. Leno, Letterman, Chevy Chase, Arsenio Hall, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and all those other humps and a half, just shadows of Carson. Go watch the clips of Johnny Carson interviews. He knows how to have a conversation with a guest. He doesn't feel the need to jump in unnecessarily to try to be funny. Carson's predecessors on The Tonight Show, Steve Allen and Jack Parr, were also brilliant conversationalists. So before Carson, we were in good hands. But after Carson, it's been 5 guys named Mo who lack Johnny's grace, style, humor, and decorum. One exception I will have to say, Stephen Colbert, who's going to be tossed into the network's scrap heap next year. Anyway, Google Johnny Carson at YouTube. Sit back with some Fritos and Fresca and enjoy the greatest to ever do it at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Plus, you will discover that Ed McMahon was the original Hank Kingsley. Hey now. That will do it for another edition of Gambling Mad with Norman Chad. Hope to see you again next time. And remember, if you're going to roll the dice, make sure they're loaded. It's tough being a baseball fan in October. You want to watch the postseason on TV, but for the past 12 years, the Fox Sports honchos have decided that America wants to hear John Smoltz dissect every pitch of every game for 3 hours plus. The play-by-play fella calling the games with John Smoltz, Joe Davis, is terrific. But they haven't invented a mute button yet where you can hear one guy without hearing the other. There are nearly 300 pitches in every game, and Smoltz comments before and after each one, telling us the type of pitch it is, the type of pitch it should be, the location of the pitch, the thinking of the pitcher on the last pitch, and the thinking of the pitcher on the next pitch. I thought we got a break the last couple of years because of the pitch clock, which limits the time between pitches. But Smoltz just talks faster. If he could, Smoltz would talk about a pitch from the time it left the pitcher's hand until the time it reaches the catcher's mitt, which is about half a second. Smoltz never ever relents. I can hear him right now, and I don't have the TV on. SOS, Fox, SOS, 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 I beg of you. If I hear John Smoltz discussing the release point on a four-seam fastball one more time, I will go gambling mad.
Gambling Mad with Norman Chad is written by Norman Chad and ghost-written by Norman Chad. Executive producers are John Scheinberg and Rick Barrio-Dill. Produced by Norman Chad and Rick Barrio-Dill. Our associate producers are Bree Khoury and Asher Friedberg, and edited by Asher Friedberg with studio facilities at 360 Pod Studios, Beverly Hills.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.